July 17, 2016, Hong Kong. A teenager knocks on a door at midnight. It's not his hotel, it's the South Korean consulate. If it opens, he lives. If not, he's dead by morning. 24 hours ago, this 18-year-old math prodigy stood on stage accepting another silver medal for North Korea. Now he's a fugitive. But here's what makes this insane. He's not running from prison, he's running from recruitment. North Korea wanted him for their top hackers unit, hacking banks, stealing billions, building missiles. A lifetime in a bunker doing the regime's darkest work. Then the door opens. "I'm from North Korea, I want to defect," he whispers. They pull him inside and he thinks it is safe, but he's on Chinese soil, and China sends defectors back. How did a math genius end up here? And will he manage to arrive safely in South Korea? 1998. Ri Jong-yeol is born under Kim Jong-il's portrait gaze in a city north of Pyongyang. At age 7, while classmates struggle with addition, Ri has consumed his entire elementary math curriculum. Teachers watch him compute like machinery. In North Korea, exceptional talent isn't celebrated, it's weaponized. Ri's brilliance earns him admission to Pyongyang's elite school for gifted youth. A pipeline disguised as an academy. Every class is monitored, every friendship is recorded, and every thought assessed for loyalty. Good students become great assets. The best students become state property. By 15, Ri dominates local competitions. By 16, he's on the national team for the International Mathematical Olympiad. 4 consecutive years abroad, Thailand, South Africa, Colombia, and Hong Kong, 4 silver medals. 2013, 2014, 2015, and 2016. In a nation starved for prestige, he's a quiet weapon. The math prodigy carrying North Korea's flag to world stages. But international exposure cuts both ways. The brighter his spotlight, the tighter the regime's leash. After his 3rd Olympiad in 2015, Ri returns from Thailand expecting praise. Instead, he notices they are asking questions about him. Senior officials have been interviewing Ri's friends, his relatives, his teachers. But this only means one thing. In North Korea, state interest means one thing. You've been selected. Word spreads through hushed conversations. The government wants to recruit him straight from high school into a classified unit, not university or public service. Something hidden. Ri pieces together their plan within days. The regime will funnel his mathematical talent into cyber warfare. In the best case, he becomes a hacker for the Reconnaissance General Bureau, North Korea's covert digital army, raiding foreign banks and crypto exchanges to fund missile programs. And in the worst case, he's assigned to nuclear weapons research, a human calculator locked in a bunker calculating trajectories and yields. He has no choice, no refusal, or no escape. When they choose you, your life ends and your service begins. Forever monitored, forever isolated, forever trapped doing the regime's darkest calculations. He wouldn't see daylight except through propaganda. He wouldn't make friends outside surveillance. He wouldn't own a single decision about his existence. For a 17-year-old who has glimpsed freedom during brief trips abroad, this future feels like premature burial. During those Olympiad competitions, Ri saw students from other countries laughing without permission, browsing uncensored internet, exploring cities without minders. He even befriended South Korean teammates who spoke his language but lived in a parallel universe where choices existed. Each return to Pyongyang felt like descending into a tomb. Faced with conscription into North Korea's shadow apparatus, Ri's mind rebels. He imagines windowless rooms, hacking foreign accounts to steal money for warheads, measuring his life in classified projects, and monitored bathroom breaks. That night, Ri makes a calculation more dangerous than any math problem. He will run. But how? Leaving North Korea means crossing borders guarded by shoot-to-kill orders, minefields, and a surveillance state that tracks every citizen. The Hermit Kingdom is a sealed trap. Then the variable emerges. The 2016 IMO will be held in Hong Kong. Chinese soil, yes, but cosmopolitan, sprawling, and home to a South Korean consulate. Also his final eligible year to compete. This is his last trip abroad, his last chance. Can he escape the regime's surveillance in a foreign city long enough to defect? Before leaving for Hong Kong, Ri breaks protocol. He tells one person, his father, a mathematics teacher who taught his son to love numbers, now listens as that son confesses treason. The father's eyes fill with fear and something fiercer, pride. He presses $200 in foreign currency into Ri's palm, a stunning act. If discovered, the whole family faces imprisonment or execution. North Korea punishes defection with 3 generations of collective punishment. Ri's father helps anyway, knowing he will be executed as soon as his son defects. Ri hugs his father, memorizing the pressure of arms around his shoulders, the sound of his father's breathing. He will likely never see these people again, never hear his mother's voice, never learn if they survived his choice. He boards the plane to Hong Kong with his school team, carrying only clothes, books, and $200. One shot at freedom. But can an 18-year-old student outsmart an entire regime? And what happens if the calculations go wrong? July 2016, Hong Kong University of Science and Technology. 6-member teams from around the globe gather, teenage geniuses tackling fiendish proofs for glory. On the surface, Ri Zhongyol is another contestant scribbling equations. Inside, he's pre-calculating an escape where every variable could kill him. He's competing for more than medals now. North Korea's delegation operates under lockdown protocols. The head coach confiscated all passports upon arrival. They have no smartphones and no unsupervised movement. A government-appointed handler monitors them constantly. It resembles a school field trip crossed with a hostage situation. Ri smiles and plays the diligent student while scans for weaknesses in the surveillance. The routine is rigid. Contests by day, group activities and curfews by night. The instant competition ends, they'll board a flight back to Pyongyang. He just has a few hours. But Ri notices cracks. The Olympiad isn't a prison camp. Professors and volunteers roam freely. No armed guards in sight. The North Korean teachers are strict but lack security training. They carry no weapons or handcuffs. They rely on intimidation and routine. And Hong Kong sprawls across islands and districts. Unlike Pyongyang's grid, you can vanish here. As exams progress, Ri refines his plan. The first step is slip from the dorm after everyone sleeps, then reach Hong Kong International Airport, crawling with international travelers including South Koreans. Lastly, find someone from South Korea who can connect him to their consulate. He doesn't know where the consulate is. He can't search online since they have no devices. The airport is neutral ground, full of maps, ticket counters, and potential allies. A desperate gamble, but his only option. Through days of competition and ceremonies, Ri maintains his mask. On July 16th, he earns his 4th consecutive silver medal. Team North Korea poses for photos, medals gleaming. Ri forces a grin while his mind counts down hours. The contest is over. It's almost time. That night, organizers throw a closing banquet. Laughter, performances, handshakes. The North Korean minders relax slightly now the competition has concluded. Their job is done, deliver the propaganda value back home. They believe their star student will dutifully board tomorrow's afternoon flight, but they've already miscalculated. Ri has identified his window. The return flight departs at 2 p.m. on July 17th. That gives him morning hours to attempt escape, when handlers are tired and guards are relaxed. As curfew approaches, he retreats to the dorm with roommates. He lies on his bunk fully dressed, shoes tied, reviewing each step. He's hidden his medal and certificate in his bag, proof of identity if needed to convince South Korean officials. The $200 sits in his sock. He has no passport or ID. Just $200 against a nuclear regime's reach. It doesn't add up to much. But it's something. Around 2 a.m., silence falls. Ri slides from bed, pulse hammering so loud he fears it will wake others. He inches the door open. The hallway is empty, with no guards or cameras, just dim exit signs. He pads down the corridor, controlling each footstep. At the lobby, a security guard dozes at the desk. Ri slips past, holding his breath. Outside, humid air hits his face. He allows himself one gulp of it and keeps moving. Off campus, he flags a taxi. "Airport, please," he says in broken English, voice shaking. The cabbie nods, pulls into traffic. As the campus vanishes behind them, Ri feels terror and exhilaration collide. He's done it. He's alone in Hong Kong with no papers, no handler, no way back. The sun will rise in 2 hours. His absence will be discovered. Right now, nobody knows he's gone. That's his only advantage, but it won't last. He glances at headlights behind the taxi. Is anyone following? For the first time in his life, he's unchained and utterly alone. What will he find at the airport, and will it be help or a trap? 4 a.m., Hong Kong International Airport. Fluorescent light bathes a departures hall, bustling despite the hour. Ri Zhongyol steps from the taxi into a cavern of travelers, announcements, digital screens listing cities across the globe. He's never witnessed anything like this. Here, he's just a skinny teenager with a backpack. Nobody knows he's a fugitive. But paralysis is a luxury he can't afford. His plan hinges on finding a South Korean. He spots the Korean Air logo above a check-in counter and reapproaches. The staff supervisor looks up, puzzled by a young Asian kid with no luggage approaching at dawn. Ri gathers courage, speaks quietly in Korean. "I need to go to South Korea. Can you help me?" The woman blinks. He shakes his head before she can respond. "I'm from North Korea." Her eyes widen. Within 3 minutes, a station manager is called. They usher Ri aside, trying to stay discreet. He explains everything: math contest, midnight escape, the fear chasing him. The manager's jaw drops. It's not every shift a North Korean teen requests asylum at your counter. She dials the only people equipped to handle this: the South Korean consulate in Hong Kong. At the consulate, the early morning call stuns diplomats awake. There is a North Korean defector, a teenage boy that claims he's from an Olympiad team. They're skeptical until details check out. There is a North Korean IMO team in Hong Kong, and one member is indeed missing. This is politically explosive. A defection on Chinese soil could trigger an international incident. Over the phone, they urge Ri to reach the consulate building independently. International protocol forbids them from sending a vehicle or escort, since that might violate Hong Kong law, provoke China, or give North Korea grounds to claim kidnapping. He has to get there alone without getting caught. The Korean Air manager scribbles an address: South Korean Consulate, Far East Finance Center, 6 Harcourt Road, across town in Hong Kong's Central Business District. Ri thanks her. This stranger has handed him exactly what he needs: coordinates. Outside, he hails another taxi. This is the final leg. As the cab winds through Hong Kong's waking streets, Ri constantly checks the rear window. By now, his handlers have discovered he's missing. Panic is spreading through the North Korean delegation. He pictures them frantically contacting airport security, Chinese authorities, reporting a kidnapped student. He knows if North Korean or Chinese agents find him first, it's over. Hong Kong police could detain and deport him to Pyongyang, a fate many defectors suffer, often a death sentence. He also knows the regime's reach is long and lethal. They've assassinated their own people abroad for less. The taxi driver has no idea about the drama in his back seat. Just after sunrise, the cab stops at a glass skyscraper, Far East Finance Center. Ri jumps out, stares at the building with multiple offices. The South Korean consulate tucked somewhere inside. It has no flag, nothing obvious, and the doubt grips him. What if he has the wrong location? Inside the lobby, commuters trickle in for work. Ri scans the directory. There, in small print, Consulate General of the Republic of Korea, 5th floor. He heads for elevators. A security guard eyes him lazily but doesn't stop him. Just a kid with a backpack. Elevator doors close, goes to the 5th floor and exits while he sees frosted glass doors and a brass plaque: South Korean Consulate General. 2 local security personnel stand at the entrance. Ri's stomach lurches. This is it. He steps forward, but the guards block him. Visiting hours haven't started. Ri blurts out urgently in Korean, "I'm a North Korean student. I need asylum." For 1 second, the guards freeze. Then one beckons him inside. They rush him through a metal detector into a waiting area behind secure doors. South Korean consular officers appear, astonished. One diplomat asks gently in Korean, "You came alone? Are you okay?" Ri nods, finally feeling the full weight of what he's done. "I defected. I can't go back," he says, voice cracking and close to crying. The staff exchange looks of disbelief. They offer water. As he gulps it down, reality sinks in. He made it. He's physically on South Korean territory by diplomatic law. North Korea can't touch him here. For the first time in his life, Ri Jong-yeol breathes free air. But as relief washes through him, new tension creeps in. This tiny consulate office may be safe temporarily, but it's not a teleportation device. He's still in Hong Kong, Chinese soil, and North Korea will pressure China to return their precious Prodigy. He's crossed one threshold, but a geopolitical standoff over a teenager has just begun. What will China do with him, and how long can he survive trapped between three governments? Within hours, news reaches the highest levels in Hong Kong and Beijing. A North Korean national has declared asylum on Chinese territory, a diplomatic hot potato. Hong Kong police, under Beijing's guidance, stationed plainclothes officers at every entrance of the Far East Finance Center. They don't storm the consulate, that would violate international law, but they ensure no one unauthorized enters or exits. South Korean diplomats inside tighten security. Everyone passing through their doors now faces vetting, bag searches, and ID checks. They're determined to prevent North Korean agents from attempting something desperate, so the consulate enters lockdown. Ri is the reason. He's given a small room, more storage area than bedroom, windowless and Spartan. On paper, he's free. In practice, he's stuck. He can't leave the consulate. Step outside and he's fair game for Hong Kong authorities. Beijing hasn't decided what to do. Days become weeks as negotiations play out behind closed doors between South Korea, China, and indirectly North Korea. China faces a dilemma. Historically, China deports most North Korean defectors it catches, calling them illegal immigrants to maintain relations with Pyongyang. Sending back a high-profile math prodigy would be a public relations nightmare, essentially delivering a youth to forced cybercrime or gulags. But letting him reach Seoul could enrage Kim Jong-un's regime, straining China's ties with its volatile neighbor. Dangerous diplomatic chess. Ri has no control over any of it. He's a teenager pacing in a room like a caged animal. He falls into routines to stay sane. Consulate staff bring Korean meals. For the first month, he's quiet, guarded. Trauma and fear hang over him. He worries constantly about his family back home. Officers avoid pressing him about his parents. They know it's raw, and any news could devastate. In private moments, Ri's thoughts spiral. Has his father been arrested? Were his relatives punished? North Korea practices guilt by association. Entire families sent to prison camps when one person defects. That guilt gnaws at him through long nights. He distracts himself with video games on an offline computer the consulate provides. He uses a treadmill they've brought in, jogging in place for exercise. It strikes him as absurd. Inside an office building, running on a treadmill while outside one of the world's greatest cities sprawls, unreachable. Every day, staff reassure him they're working on his release. They encourage him to study South Korean language and culture in preparation for his new life. But as weeks drag on, uncertainty takes its toll. Outside, North Korea is furious. Pyongyang vehemently denies any defection, likely spinning propaganda about their student being abducted by enemies. They pressure Beijing behind closed doors. Send our boy back. South Korea works every diplomatic backchannel to extract Ri safely. A tense standoff that stays mostly quiet. Still, whispers circulate among Hong Kong media. A North Korean defector holed up in the city. The consulate and Beijing both want to avoid a media circus. Each morning, Ri wakes not knowing if this will be the day China decides to grant him passage or force him out, a nerve-wracking limbo. Hong Kong police maintain their quiet watch outside. He's under siege, even if politely. Every knock, every phone ring spikes his pulse. He imagines Chinese officials debating his fate while North Korean agents fume beyond the consulate walls. By late September, roughly 70 days after he entered, Ri receives news. Beijing has agreed to let him go to South Korea. The diplomatic wrangling paid off. China's relations with North Korea have soured in 2016 because Kim's missile tests angered Beijing. In a calculated snub, China quietly gives the green light for Ri's departure. Relief floods the consulate. They immediately prepare Ri's paperwork. Since he arrived with nothing, South Korea issues him a passport under a pseudonym for protection. Hong Kong immigration, cued by Beijing, grants him a temporary visa as if he were a South Korean tourist. These documents are his golden ticket out. One September morning, consulate staff hand Ri a plane ticket to Seoul and a fresh passport with his new name, Lee Jung-ho. He stares at it. In North Korea, he was state property. Now he has citizenship in a free country and the right to a new life. A South Korean official smiles. It's time to go home, your new home. Ri nods, eyes wet. But a final gauntlet remains. He has to reach the airport and board a plane without incident. Until the wheels lift off, this isn't real. Is this freedom, or will something still go wrong? And what's waiting for him in Seoul? They leave for the airport just after dusk in an unmarked consular car. Ri sits in the back seat flanked by South Korean officials, trying to stay calm. Hong Kong's skyline twinkles outside like any normal night. For everyone else, it is. For Ri, it's the night he escapes Pyongyang's shadow forever. At the airport, Chinese plainclothes officers quietly accompany them at a distance, informal assurance of safe passage. A surreal reversal. The same airport where he begged for help 2 months ago now ushers him out under guard, protecting him from his own country. Still, Ri can't shake nerves. As he approaches immigration with his new passport, he's certain the officer will detect his true identity. But stamp. They wave him through as Mr. Lee, an ordinary South Korean traveler. No alarms or commotion. He nearly sobs with relief. Boarding the flight, he finds a window seat, buckles in. Only when the plane lifts off Hong Kong's runway does he exhale the breath he's held for 70 days. Below, city lights recede. He's free. The flight to Seoul takes 3 hours. When Ri steps onto South Korean soil, it hits him. He's gone from North Korean defector to South Korean citizen. Officials quietly guide him through a special arrivals process away from cameras. After debriefings and paperwork, Ri Jong-yol ceases to exist. In his place, Lee Jung-ho is officially born. Within days, he enrolls in an intensive program for North Korean defectors adjusting to Southern life. Culture shock crashes over him. He's free to watch TV, browse the web, and walk the streets without fear. But it's not simple. He has to learn new slang, new social norms, even how to navigate a supermarket, experiences the hermit kingdom never permitted. He attends language and culture classes, devouring knowledge about the world he was shut off from. Attending Seoul Science High School feels like stepping into the future. His talent hasn't rusted. Within a year, he passes entrance exams and gains admission to Seoul National University, the country's top college, to study mathematics. Remarkable for any young man. For someone raised without internet or academic freedom, it's astounding. Yet triumph carries heartbreak. Ri hasn't seen or heard from his parents or family since departure day. He likely never will unless North Korea collapses. He can't call home, that would endanger them further. All he can do is hope that because his defection stayed relatively quiet, his family avoided the worst repercussions. In public statements, he later downplays any help from his father, insisting he planned everything alone, almost certainly to protect his loved ones, to avoid confirming guilt by association. The personal cost of his freedom is permanent, painful separation from everyone he knew. He traded his past for a future. And what a future in Seoul. Professors recognize his genius. He talks of wanting to study in the United States, a place he once could only dream of. Each step he takes in daylight, walking across campus, sipping coffee at a cafe, chatting freely with friends, reminds him of the liberty he risked everything for. Ri's defection sent shockwaves to Pyongyang. The regime was humiliated. one of its brightest minds walked out under their supervision. Their response was swift and telling. For the next 2 years, North Korea sent no team to the International Math Olympiad. They froze the entire program rather than risk another betrayal. When they finally resumed in 2019, they did so with new precautions, government minders accompanying every student and coach, watching constantly. They would never let another kid slip away. Ri's story spread quietly among those who follow North Korea, a rare success tale of a defector thriving against odds. When Ri landed in Seoul and finally accessed an uncensored computer, one of his first acts was creating an email account and performing a Google search for North Korea. A young man forbidden from knowing the world through the internet, now freely typing his homeland's name into a search bar to learn truths his country had hidden. But Ri's story raises one final question. How many other brilliant minds remain trapped in North Korea right now, calculating their own desperate equations for freedom?